the Bucks. I mean, what's not to say about them? It's funny, one winning streak, and now everybody's hopping back on that bandwagon. Tale as old as time, I guess. I mean, I swear it's the same old script the last 5 years. You know, like it's people just keep getting tricked by this team, and I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be that guy, but if we're gonna dog on the Lakers beating the Wizards in OT and beating the Bulls, struggling getting past the Pistons and all this other stuff, then why aren't we keeping that same energy? I mean, we look at the success of both of these teams. They're just as successful. The Lakers went to 2 conference finals in 5 years. The Bucks has been to 2 conference finals in 5 years. Both of them have a championship. Sure, people look at the regular season records and they're going to look at the big wins. They're going to be like, oh my God. But like, let's just be real for a second, right? Does anyone actually fear this team? Like not Bucks Twitter account people, because those people are like the biggest glazers I've seen in my life. Like they be saying stuff that don't make no sense. Like they're saying that, oh my goodness, look at these numbers. Giannis is the best. No, he's not. No, he's not. Like anytime I watch him play, it's a struggle. It really is. And it's not, and people say, oh my goodness, he dropped 46 points. I mean, AD dropped 40, 22 rebounds, 6 blocks, and no one cares. Because we expect that. Right? And the funny thing is, why does he need another MVP now? Isn't he like, it's not like he's 38 years old and it's like the last, it's like Aaron Rodgers, like he has to win this or he can't get it anymore. Like he's 28, 29, so I'm assuming he's going to keep playing. It's so funny, right? Anytime you criticize him, right, it's always the, oh, you're hating, oh, this and that. And it's like, man, I mean, you guys treat this person like he's a god. And that's a big problem in general. But you treat this person and he's untouchable, right? I seen untouchable. His name is Patrick Mahomes. That should be his real name. He is untouchable. He is unbeatable. And yet, if you say that about Mahomes relative to other athletes, it's always, well, Andy Reid, well, Travis Kelce, man went back by rings for Tyreek Hill, by the way. And I know people ain't going to start pretending Tyreek Hill isn't one of the best wideouts we have ever seen. So it's the same old excuses. It's always coaching when it's not really the coach's fault. It's always the point guard when it's not really their fault. It's not their fault they can't adjust if the star player can't adjust when it counts for the most, right? In those big moments, those big spots. It's always blaming the other team. It's always this and that. I mean, the amount of just insults and like slander and disrespect they laid onto the Heat before that series, during that series, and after that series, it's just beggars belief. Like, what did you expect? Did you not expect them to not at least hear some of that and just channel that through their performance? That's why I'm picking the Heat to win the whole thing. It's because of that. At least get to the finals, at least, right? It's always the same thing. Look, I respect the Celtics a lot more because they've been there. They've been to 5 conference finals. They've been also successful, and quite frankly, they're just much better to watch. When they're flowing, it's really, it might just be the best show in the NBA, right? The Heat, the same thing. When they're rolling, bro, it's nothing else in the sport. It's just incredibly fun to watch, right? And it's so funny to me. It's always that, oh, they said this. Oh, the media does that. I mean, what do you expect them to do? No, seriously. What has Giannis done the last 10 years? Not really, the last 5 years in terms of championships, in terms of finals appearances, in terms of making deep runs for people to just give him the benefit of the doubt just because it's him. Oh, I can't doubt this team because it has Giannis. My friend, he's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Messi. He's not LeBron James. He's not Michael Jordan. He's not that type of guy, right? He's not Billie Eilish. You know what I'm saying? He's not Taylor Swift. I'm going to go. He's not Justin Timberlake in his prime. He's not 50. Like, he's not the guy you could just bank on time in and time out. He's just not. Right? And I always say this, man. Mike Budenholzer is the reason why he still has that perception. He still has it because of Mike Budenholzer. Right? And have you noticed that it's always the same thing, right? It's like when the coaches come in, it's always, oh, I don't know about this guy. And then they start becoming also successful. And it's, oh, yeah, this coach is the best coach in the league, man. And you start pointing out coaches' names. Oh, no. This is Giannis, right? Oh, no. It's Middleton. Even though they disparage Middleton all the time when he's not playing well. They disparage everybody else. They say Bobby Portis can't play, and he's out here putting up, like, 6-man year numbers off the bench. He's not even the 6-man. They disparage Brook Lopez, even though he's been their best defender since he's been there, by the way. They always disparage Bledsoe, even though he's one of their only few threats, right? Disparage Drew Holiday, even though the guy was an all-star, all-defensive caliber player, and look what he's doing with the Celtics. It's not that surprising, right? He has the ultimate type of freedom, right? Look at Dame. They're saying, oh, yeah, Dame. Yeah, he wasn't that good. I mean, I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? You're talking about, like, a top 75 player of all time, and you're telling me, he just wasn't that good. Oh, he's just Portland. What do you expect? Like, no, like, that's not how it works. Giannis be running through point guards the same way, like, I've been running through Timbits. Like, it's not sustainable. And that's the problem, right? And it's always going to be the same scapegoats. I told this guy on Reddit, oh my goodness, but I was having this conversation on Reddit, and I was just like, yeah, I was always right. I was kind of being a little bit of an ass, but like, okay, I was right all along. Oh, they got Dame, it's game over. I'm like, man, I heard this show way too many times for it to be any different. And look at them now. They're still the 3rd seed. I don't know why the Bucks Twitter acted like they're the 1st seed. I don't know why. Oh, it can't happen in the series. My friend, the Heat did it to you guys twice. Celtics did it to you guys twice. At this point, it's literally an expectation at this point. And that's the thing. It's hard for your coaches to make adjustments if the star player, the supposed best player in the world, the supposed most dominant player since Shaq, which is BS, because we have LeBron doing this for 20 years. We had Kobe doing this. We had Duncan doing this. We had KG doing this. We had D Rose and Russell Westbrook had their runs. Harden had his run. Kawhi had his run in the postseason. That's dominance. Dunking the ball 20 times in a game, yeah, that's great, but that's not really dominance in that sense. Shaq was so dominant because he would literally force the coach to change up their game plan. Anyone can change up their game plan for the Bucks. If they're an inferior team, they're going to get beat because they don't have the talent to keep up. And their coaches are not really that good. I don't expect Billy Donovan to outcoach Doc Rivers when the guy dropped a 3-1 lead. When the guy dropped series against Portland, against Utah, right? Does anyone expect Billy Donovan to do much of anything, really? I mean, I'm not disparaging the guy. I think he's not a bad coach, but just what do you expect him to do? He's Jeff Fisher. Like, he's bad. And I don't blame the Bulls for hiring him because they needed some type of stability. I mean, Jim Boylan, that guy was absolutely ass. But I don't know. Maybe they should have just tanked. Maybe they could have got Wemby. Maybe they could have flipped Zach or DeMar or whatever. I still think the Bulls can do something. It's just he can't be the coach. They have to get someone. I would love for them to get Mike Budenholzer just because like that would be kind of cool, But back to the Bucks for a second. Don't you realize that this whole narrative about Giannis has been on faith? It really has just been on faith. Faith that he will become a top 10 player of all time. Faith that he's this incredible story. This incredible story, right? And look, I'm not disparaging his beginnings. I'm not doing that. He had his difficulties. Well, why are we acting like this is the first time? Because he's an international player. My friend Jokic, that guy was from the trenches, man. That guy had to, like, literally claw his way into the NBA. The man got drafted under a Taco Bell commercial. Giannis at least had the opportunity to step on the podium. Like, the guy got drafted 13th. Jokic got drafted near the bottom of the second round, the 44th pick. If you get the NBA caliber player 44th pick, you might be popping champagne bottles. Get a guy like Jokic, you might be believing in the supernatural. Like, it's crazy, right? And that's the frustrating part about it, is that people overlook history in their own sport to advance their own agenda. And I know that happens all the time. LeBron fans do it. Jordan fans do it. Kobe fans love doing that. Kyrie, they all love doing it. But for Giannis fans, it's like an imperative. It's It's like a sort of rite of passage. It just doesn't make any sense, right? NBA YouTube, NBA Twitter, NBA Reddit. They all wanted this dude to be this godlike figure, this unstoppable beast, this person that, yeah, this is what LeBron should have been. I don't think LeBron's worried about Giannis any bit, man. And that's the thing, is that when you disrespect championships, it's hard to take any championship that's not won dominantly seriously. You can just pick apart any part of that, right? We don't talk about the very fact is Giannis got hurt and he still won those last 2 games double digits. We don't talk about that. We just don't, right? We just don't. And that's on Mike Budenholzer. He is the Andy Reid of the NBA. I've been telling people this, and people calling me crazy. I mean, if he can work miracles with the Hawks, and the Hawks haven't done much without him. Sure, they made a conference finals, and they've been a playoff team. But they haven't been really a threat. I said this. Listen, Mike Budenholzer doesn't have his Mahomes. Giannis is not Mahomes. Can we just stop that? I mean, Giannis has been knocked out in the first round 4 times. I'm just going off of the facts. This isn't me making stuff up. This isn't anything else. Going off the facts. This man has been knocked out in the first round. The more times he's been got out of the first round. You know who has a similar playoff record? Let's just be real, right? Giannis has played a decade in the NBA. So it's not like he's played 3, 4, 5, 6 years. We have a decade worth of sample size, right? Giannis has had the number 1 seed 3 separate times. The guy has not been to the finals. Hasn't even been close. He got knocked out by an 8 seed that had Cody Zeller playing crunch time minutes. Just think about that for a second, right? People go, oh, well, it's just Jimmy, right? It's Spoelstra. And I get it. I agree. But, these are the same people that say that Jimmy Butler isn't a top 10 player. Just because he doesn't average 28 in the regular season, which will be great. But I'd rather have that in the postseason. I mean, his numbers aren't even that bad either. He could still make All-NBA, which is funny enough, like last season. But that's a different type of conversation altogether, right? And that's the thing. Mahomes' worst season, his worst season, right? And I'm just, he gets knocked out in OT in a championship game at home. Giannis has been knocked out by Jimmy Butler 3 times already. 3 times already. The guy owns Giannis. Guys outplayed him 3 separate times in 3 different phases of his career. People go, well, Jimmy, he was the guy and Giannis wasn't. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. I agree. And, okay, so explain 2020 that. Oh, it's bubble, right? They're going to win 73 games. No, they were not. That team was going to fail no matter what. Because they're led by a guy who does not believe in failure. Just think about that for a second. Right? This guy does not believe in failure, which is fine. But I'm not 7 foot. I'm not built like a bodybuilder. If I said that, I'll get kicked out. But that's the problem, right? This season, this disappointing season is because of that statement. You don't believe in failure, yet you got rid of your coach twice. You don't believe in failure, but you wanted Damian Lillard, or you're going to leave. So essentially, he's the plan. I think the Giannis PR plan, because Giannis PR mafia is crazy. So many bot accounts, so many media people on YouTube and Twitter, ESPN. I know a lot of people think ESPN has an agenda against everybody, but that's part of the job, right? Criticism isn't agenda pushing. It's just the facts. The facts is this. Okay, all of this talk over the last 7, 8 years about Giannis. He was going to be the consensus best player. He's not even. Is he even a top 3 player in the league right now? I wouldn't put him anywhere on any no list. Seriously, best leaders list. He's not on there for obvious reasons. Best defender. He's not the best defender in the league. We see. Have y'all forgot about Draymond, Gobert, and that's 3 lists top of my head. There's probably other people too. Obviously, he's not the best rebounder. Andre Drummond's there. Best scorer? No. SGA, Luka, Durant, Curry, even LeBron, right? Is he the best? No, he's not the best passer. Is he the best dominant rim finisher? The stats say yes, but like I probably give that like Jared Allen or maybe even like Anthony Davis, like guys like it's guaranteed to, or even LeBron. But that's just another conversation in entirely differently, right? And it's just the constant lies. Like seriously, that team is not used to having success. You're celebrating a 5-game winning streak against mostly bad opponents. And let's just be real here. Like the Raptors had a 3-game winning streak. This is before Scotty's injury. I'm not jumping up and down saying we're gonna win the title. I'm not saying we're gonna like even make the playoffs. I said play in. I'm like that could be a possibility. But like we're probably gonna get a top 5 pick anyways, which is probably better. I mean, we're not gonna like beat the Hawks or whatever. But that's the problem, right? And I know what they're gonna do. They're gonna, Doc Rivers. Oh my God, there's a reason why Doc Rivers has that reputation. I mean, if he can't succeed with Kawhi, then what are we doing here? They're gonna say, top 5 defense. I mean, that hasn't helped you out anyways. The offense still is not consistent. Damian Lillard is still having bad games. Again. Like, Damian Lillard and Doc Rivers are the ultimate types of scapegoats for Giannis. Damian Lillard hasn't won anything. Doc Rivers has been carried by KG, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen. It writes itself. So Giannis can just say, you know what, guys, get rid of Doc Rivers. We could pay a 5th coach. Dame, we could trade him away for nothing, and then that team will probably somehow finish as a top 5 seed. Giannis fans are gonna be creaming about how he deserves MVP, even though the guy, like, it just doesn't make any sense to me, right? You know what? Give him the MVP, because every time the man has won an MVP, his team has faceplanted on themselves embarrassingly every single time. And it's always they disrespect the opponent. This Bucks fans do. This is what Giannis fans do. I don't know about Bucks fans, because I've seen some sensible Bucks fans that say it's a cult, which I would agree, but cult personality. They disrespect their opponents. And when their opponents beating them, they can't do it again. And then when they find one little thing, Giannis was injured. He has no point guard. And then when they do beat them fair and square, it's what do you expect? The very fact it's a series. It makes Giannis the best player in the world. It doesn't make any sense to me, right? I think at least LeBron fans knew how good those Warriors teams were. I think Kobe fans knew how good those Suns teams were. I think at least Jordan fans knew how good that Magic team was, or how great those Pistons teams and Bird teams were for the Celtics. At least they acknowledged that. They weren't disrespecting them because they had the best player in the world. I mean, I don't see Chiefs fans disrespecting 2018 Patriots or the 2021 Bengals. They could. They're areas of weaknesses. If they were to play them again, I think they would beat them. But they don't do that. There's a reason why. It's called having common courtesy for your opponent. And they've been disrespecting every single opponent for so long, right? Saying, they can't do this again. Tatum this. Embiid that. The Jokic hate that the Bucks fans be giving on Twitter is funny to me. Like, the Nuggets are 2.5 games out of the first place spot. They're gonna get that first place spot, and they're probably gonna win the championship again. I'm not betting on it. I love to see the Heat win, and then from like now on, anyone could win. The Celtics could win. The Clippers could win. The Nuggets could win again. I wouldn't really care, because as a Raptors fan, we're not doing anything in the near future, like anything. I mean, we might be a playoff team next year, but again, it's just, I don't know. It's difficult. You know what I'm saying? It's difficult when you're dealing with ignorance. That's what this shit is. It's ignorance. It doesn't make any sense to me. You know, like, it's always that, stay on that side. We're being doubted. Everybody hates it. Man, everybody be glazing off. Last 5 years, and most of them with Blue Noser, by the way, you guys have had the best record in the East. Okay? The best record in the East. And you just gotta get rid of him because he couldn't adjust, and you get Doc Rivers. I mean, what do you expect? What do you expect? It can't work both ways. Giannis was never that guy. Deep down, no one fears him. Deep down, no one's sweating bullets. I mean, there's an interview with Deion Dawkins. He's offensive lineman for the Bills. Look how he talks about Mahomes. He talks about him like he's like this mythical creature that has come down. Like that's the thing. That's who y'all think Giannis is. And that's a massive, massive problem. Because it creates an unrealistic expectation. Let's just be real. Right? I mean, Giannis was never that guy. He was never that guy. And that for most people, I think they would just move on. For me, look, if I'm the GM, I would have just cut his ass after that. When he said that, I'm like, yeah, you're gone. Bye. We appreciate your services, but like you're gone. And that's really the upsetting part about it, is that like, because here's the thing, they're never gonna trade Giannis because he's too much of a cash cow, you know. I mean, it's like a gift and a curse. Gift and a curse. And when you just sort of acknowledge that, it's difficult because in that sort of preset, right? I think ego is a massive, massive thing in sports, and specifically in the NBA. And that's the thing. If every fan base feels it's being disrespected, Lakers fans talking about them being disrespected, and they have been disrespected, but that's just name of the game. That is just name of the game. Like when you see media members saying certain things, I mean, come on now. These people be changing their minds every day, every hour, because they have to. Airtime, ratings, their wages, their livelihoods are dependent on things like this. Don't assume every media member is a millionaire that can just stand back and not do anything. Right? And that's the thing. Is that I know Giannis fans would be thinking, well, he has 2 MVPs. I mean, you guys disrespect Steve Nash all the time. And he has 2 MVPs too. Could have won a third one as well. You always got 2 MVPs. I mean, Giannis is not the only guy who has that. Right? And it's so funny to me. It's like Doug Gulib, I can't pronounce this man's name properly, but Doug Gulib said something so interesting. He said that people are going to overreact to Giannis winning the championship in 2021. He said that when they won against the Suns. I'm going to say this right now. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to them. Period. So even if they lose in the first round this year, even if they get embarrassed, get swept or something like that, it's not going to change anything. They're just going to find another avenue. They're just going to find another way. The Giannis stands, the NBA Twitter, the NBA Reddit, the NBA YouTube specifically. I'm looking at you, Dom2K and Rusty Buckets. I still love y'all, but they're gonna try to like spin it in a way that's positive for him. Even those guys are kind of guilty of it as well, because you're gonna have to sort of speak positively, right, of one of those guys, right? You're gonna be losing ad money on that as well, and that's this thing. It's just this constant roller coaster. And it's unfair to that team, honestly, the Bucks team. They have a great look. Let's just be real. Even when them being like their asses being stripped down, they still have a good team. I'm telling you right now, the Bucks should have went for Wemby. I'm looking at what Wemby's doing, and I'm like, man, if you just put Wemby in Giannis's position, right, and you still could have got Dame. You still could have got him with those assets. You would have had Dame, Beasley, Middleton, Wemby, Lopez, Bobby Portis, all those young guys they keep talking about all the time. I mean, man, now that's a title team. Now it has all of the good stuff, none of the BS. There isn't a $200+ million contract anchoring this team down. which again, I still think that's a really bad decision, by the way. That extension is panic. But I don't blame him. I mean, because you don't want, because if he would have left, I'd be like, what the hell did you just do? But I would just cut my losses, man. I don't care about perception. The Bucks, they care about offseason championships. They don't care about actually winning. You know what I'm saying? A lot of teams win games. There's quite a few teams that win a lot of games. But most of us think a lot of those teams aren't really like championship teams. And that's the thing, right? Giannis cares about his image more than his game. He gets shut down by one type of coverage. And I'm just going to take these people through a little bit of a story. Mahomes has seen every type of coverage in the NFL that you can think of. Blitz, scramble defense, Tampa 2, cover 2, 2 deep safeties, or whatever, whatever. And the guy still dominated. That's the thing. The guy still is doing things we have never seen before. Mahomes is Michael Jordan of this era. Let's just be real. He's the best player in all sports, right? He has the individual accolades and he has championships. He has the moments in both in the regular season and the postseason. And for some reason, a lot of people think Giannis is up there, and that does not compute for me. It doesn't make sense. You can go blue in the face. You're like, oh my goodness, the blocks, I can watch Jared Allen block the ball. I can watch a lot of guys do that. Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green. They may not average the raw numbers, but for me, they're a lot more effective. And they don't cost as much. They just don't. Mahomes is the only guy that $500 million contract is actually a underpay. He's the only guy. Not even Ohtani. $700 million. But if that boy don't win a championship, man, it's gonna look rough. Like real rough for him. If Carmi don't win that championship, bro, it might just be game over for them. But that's a different concept entirely. So, here's my ending to this. It's very simple. Someone's destiny is not something that can be prescribed. We can't say that this person's going to do all these things before they actually do them. The reason why I'm so high on Billie Eilish is that the last 5 years has been generational on top of generational. You have the generational talent with the generational body work, generational discography, and then the accolades, the sales, everything just comes together, right? And that's why I think this whole GOAT conversation with Michael Jackson, we haven't really had that in pop music. But I think we'll begin. We'll begin with Taylor, but I think eventually we'll probably have to have Billie Eilish there as well. And that's kind of the interesting part as well, is that are people willing to admit that they're wrong on someone for so long? It's gonna take. Honestly, I don't want to wait a decade, man. It took people a decade to realize that Aaron Rodgers was never on Tom Brady's level. It took people 10 years, right? It doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback. Hell, I think he's a top 5 quarterback ever and a top 12, 13 player ever, right? But that's the thing. There's levels to this. And Giannis was, for me, he's not on top anything list. He really isn't, right? And that's, for me, that's kind of... So it kind of says it itself. So I hope everyone enjoyed the Renegade Podcast episode 2, and have a nice day.